my name's EC,
And I'm Kevin.
and welcome to the very first video of,
Hands-on Diecast.
yes, our very own YouTube channel where we're going to be focusing on model cars.
Yep.
So we're both fanatics of cars, model
We
cars.
love cars.
Yes, 100%. So we're going to be bringing you stuff from our collection.
Yep. And new acquisitions and so forth.
Absolutely. And today, we're going to start off our YouTube channel with
The Mclaren F1 LM, Le Mans version.
one of our favorite models, one of the few models that both you and I have in our
That's true.
collection.
That's very true. Yes.
So a couple of things about the actual car itself. My favorite piece of information, Lewis Hamilton, when he was racing for McLaren Mercedes, he was offered one of the 5 Le Mans ever built.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if, of course there's always an if he won a second world championship with it.
Right. And obviously that didn't happen because
No.
he left.
Yes,
Okay.
with Mercedes. What was your favorite piece of information?
Well, as EC knows, I'm a big BMW fan. And the fact that there's a BMW engine right in here, V12 6.1 liter, that's my piece of nugget of information.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yes.
Cool.
Indeed.
Now let's dig in more into the model itself.
Yes. Let's.
So, one thing that we didn't mention is that this is made by Autoart. Yeah.
Yes, we did forget to mention that, quite a critical point in the review, obviously. Refresh my memory. Is Autoart the only one who made the F1 LM?
No, TSM did make one as well. Amalgam as
I
well.
see. Let's forget about Amalgam.
Yeah, beyond our budget.
Right.
So yeah, Autoart. Well, in essence, I definitely prefer the Autoart version, right? And in terms of details, why is that? For a start, look at that mesh, right?
Yeah, these are really well done. I mean, the fact that the mesh, you can see through it. I mean, this is a pet peeve of every collector, having a mesh that's just a piece of plastic, can't see beyond it.
Yep, exactly. One other thing as well, logos wise, another thing that Autoart always gets bang on.
Yeah, position's great, font size, everything looks good.
Yep, representative to the scale.
Yeah, well done.
Headlights, I like the headlights.
Headlights, I'm lukewarm on. I mean, the headlamp cluster as a whole looks fine. But if you look at the lens, I feel it lacks a bit of depth. Although I will admit that I'm not very familiar with the real car and I forgot what they actually look like. So that could be accurate.
Quick top tip, if you do like to wax your models,
Which we do.
if you're using a liquid-based wax, make sure you don't get too much of it into these little grooves, because once that dries up, it flakes and actually can
Goes
fall
inside.
into the lamp cluster. You're not going to be able to get it out.
Have you got yours out yet?
No.
Okay.
Thanks for
Moving on.
Thanks for reminding me. Great. Other bits of details. Shall we show them the removable
Yes.
hood?
Let me get that out.
Excellent. So we'll give you a separate close-up of this view, but it's beautiful, right? Carbon fiber air intakes, representative of all the air that goes through the mesh and up into the brake systems.
I mean, Autoart always gets the carbon fiber details right. No complaints there.
Yes, good point. The entire front splitter right here, full carbon fiber printing, really nice.
Yes, and this printing, I mean, some people take it for granted, but if you look at other brands like GT Spirit and whatnot, they're just decal applications. And I mean, after a while, they could peel off, or there's alignment issues, whereas this is really bang on.
It's GT Spirit and Auto. What do you expect?
True, but I mean, look at the price difference too. So what do you expect?
Well, that's a separate topic on
let's get
our
into that
channel.
later.
Other basic details, wipers, and don't forget the little hood scoop as well.
That is well done.
Yes, tiny little bit of mesh in there as well.
And let's not forget down here too, the magnetic holders. I mean, that's another detail that Autoart gets right all the time. They do get rusty after a while in corrosion, but I mean, they do corrode, but I mean, still, nice detail.
Yes, which actually on both our models,
They don't work anymore.
they don't work anymore.
Yes,
Which probably in the move to composite, definitely the magnetic pieces work better for the composite body panels as opposed to the full die-cast ones.
Perhaps, I'm not too sure.
Yes, I have a couple of composites which you have yet to start on, but yes, I can tell you that's for sure.
Okay.
Cool. Let's move on. So can I just say that the side profile of the F1 is by far and away my favorite view of the entire car.
I have to agree. I mean, the stance on the car, especially on the F1 LM, it's amazing.
Yep. So let's start off with the rims on this Autoart model. So
Right.
wheel nuts, you notice that it's red on
Yes.
one side and it's blue on the other side.
Yes.
I have no idea why.
Okay. I don't have no clue either, but I mean, it seems like all these extreme cars that are race cars that have been made road legal, I mean, they all seem to have the same pattern, different wheel color nuts on each side.
Correct.
The other thing about the wheels interesting is the F1 LM logo here. It's not just a decal, it's actually debossed into the wheel, which is pretty cool.
expected of an Autoart signature model.
Right.
Brakes, very clearly the Brembo calipers, the slightly gold finish. Gold seems to be a recurring theme across F1s, right?
True. Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yep, exactly. With the cross-road brakes, very, very, very nice.
Yes, well done.
Now what else do we have?
So the details even here on these buttons. The fact that they took the effort to paint these in chrome, not just silver, that's a pretty cool detail. And also the side indicator, not a decal, actual piece of orange plastic, which is great.
So I think that's kind of like a minimum standard for signature models, right? I mean, if you look at the Millenniums and the other lesser lines of models, they tend to use like painted bits or stickers.
Which is true. I guess for collectors, you're paying a certain amount, you expect a certain quality that comes with the signature.
Yes. And speaking of quality and detail, poof, look at that. Awesome. So we'll give you another close-up of this. So effectively a luggage compartment. On the F1 Le Mans, only one side opens up. On the road car, both sides, actually.
Right, and we'll have another shot of that in more detail. And another thing is it also has the magnetic holders. When you pop it back up, it stays up. Which is great.
Yep. You can just catch a little glimpse of the in-car headsets, which is really cool. Although that being said, we'll probably jump on this a little bit more, but TSM probably did a better job in detailing these little headphones, which we'll show you in a bit.
Yeah, I'm not too particular on that. I mean, I think they look fine to me. Not perfect, but good enough.
Around the rear of the car, the spoiler.
Yeah, the spoiler is great too. I mean, just look at the positioning of this decal. Bang on, great detail, and nothing really to complain about the back down here.
Yep, top marks the Autoart here.
Okay, now onto the back of the F1 LM. I mean, even the stance on the back looks great. First impressions, everything looks fine. The grille down here is see-through, so you can look into the exhaust. What are your thoughts on this?
So one thing I really love, which we'll try and get on a separate angle, is that if you look right through the rear grills on the back, you can see the entire exhaust system is detailed. You can just about catch a glimpse of the manifold right at the back.
Even through these parts, you could see a little bit through, which is great as well.
Yes. Interesting fact as well about the real car. Apparently, these tail lamps were lifted off a
truck, right?
A truck or a coach or something like that, and is being plunked with one of the most expensive, valuable cars.
You'd never guess that. Yeah.
Yep. I guess one little disappointing factor is right around the exhaust. So exhaust tips, they're all right, not fantastic.
Were they supposed to be actually black on the real car or silver? Because it looks a little strange to me.
Yeah, that is a good question. I'm not sure about that. But one thing that's a little bit of a disappointment is that you're not getting the standard mesh that you would expect from a signature.
Yeah, this is the thing that we were talking about earlier with the front. So you can't see through that. It's just a piece of plastic.
Yep. But other than that, I mean, there's really fine details, right? In terms of the stance as well as the width of the tires. I mean, look at how thick those rear tires are.
It looks fierce.
Yes, absolutely aggressive. But overall, I like it. I'm biased.
I mean, apart from the mesh and the exhaust, I mean, the rest of even the decal positioning and everything looks fine to me.
Yep.
Looks great.
Absolutely. Oh, and not to forget as well, the tiny little details around the lights, the reverse lamp, for instance, and the rear fog lamps. All captured.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, really small details captured. Okay, moving into the engine compartment, which looks great on first glance. First thing I see is the BMW M Power logo, which is great. I love BMWs. Looking straight down, you probably can't see too clearly in the camera, but the headers are actually visible. Also, we have the meshes here, just at the corner of the camera. You can see through them, so great detail there.
Yeah, I think straight up, two of the most defining features of a McLaren F1 engine Autoart has captured here, right? Number one is this, the entire exhaust manifold, I'm assuming this is part of the exhaust manifold, it's covered, it has the carbon fiber printing again, which Autoart does well as some of the shielding. So you can see this
I mean, this looks really great, the heat shielding.
Exactly, all the way around the sides, and of course on the underside of the bonnet, which we'll show you separately, the gold shield as well.
Yes.
And another thing, purely from a model perspective, again, Autoart, they really get these hinges down really, really nicely, right? Which is exactly what I'm pointing to here. Now, if from my perspective, I don't think this is Autoart's best engine effort.
Yeah, in all fairness, also possibly just because of the way the real car is too. I mean, That's the thing, right? With a lot of modern engines, I mean, this isn't a particularly modern engine, but everything's sunk down for center of gravity. Everything's kind of hidden.
Yep.
You can't really see everything.
Yep,
So
yep.
that's part of the reason.
Yep.
But like you said, this hinge component, even just opening and closing the engine compartment, that feeling when you open and close, is just the smoothness of the hinge and everything. It adds to the quality feel of a signature model.
Yep. I guess for me, I'm spoiled, right? If you were to compare this to, say, the Pagani Zonda Revolution, right? Made by Autoart, boom, that blows it away straight up. But I'm biased towards F1s. I still like it. So I guess another little thing would be, again, like Kev, what you mentioned, the mesh, and you can just see, the tips of the exhaust going right through the mesh. Ooh, I love that.
I mean, although we can't open this flap up, but just seeing that, it's like teasing us to look in more. It's great.
Which, interestingly, on the road car, this can be opened up. Yeah, which I think, some of the hardcore guys on around the world, you can actually dismantle the Le Mans and unhinge this entire piece, because the hinge book is there and you can actually lift this whole thing up. But for whatever reason, on the production version, they kept it locked.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps for licensing reasons and whatnot, they did that with another model, right? Whereby the engine compartment or whatnot could not be open when actually the mechanism's already built in.
Yep. Okay, great. So let's talk about the interior.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So this is the main reason why I love diecast model cars. Opening diecast model.
Very fun.
So anyway, this is the interior of the Le Mans. Your standard, what is most famous for, right? The central driving position.
Right, of course.
Yeah, 2 passengers at the side. In terms of the details of the interior, I think it's pretty good. I won't say it's like the best I've seen, but pretty close, right?
I think you're a bit biased in this sense, because I feel like the interior, I mean, albeit I can't really recall what a real McLaren's interior looks like, but it looks very plasticky.
Well...
Look at the seats. I mean, okay, bonus points for the hinges. The hinges are great, same mechanism like the engine compartment. But the seats, the dash, they're all quite plasticky. There's not much tactility to any of it.
No, maybe perhaps you're right. I think where it scores well is the materials which they use to simulate, the top of the dashboard, the steering wheel. I think that's great. But then if you look around, say the footwells of the interior, yes, that is plasticky. The seat base, yes, that is plasticky.
I do agree with you, because I think they did choose that particular type of plastic to give that matte finish, that grayish matte finish on the top of the dashboard. So in all fairness, yes, I do agree on that.
Yeah. But otherwise, everything that you would expect to see in the Le Mans is there, right? The basic, the very classic instrumentation reflected by the sticker in the dashboard. The very interesting handbrake, which you need to lift up and pull down to operate on the F1, as well as the upright gear shifter.
Yes, all agreed.
Yep.
I think overall the interior is okay. I mean, it's not great, it doesn't blow me away. There's other Autoart models that are much better than this. But as I said, it all depends on what the real car looks like, because this is supposed to be the best replication of the real car.
Yep. So, but yeah, as I said, I'm happy.
Yep.
So we've pretty much covered everything there is to cover about the Autoart McLaren F1 Le Mans.
Yes, we have.
And so, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, in conclusion, I think this is a model that is befitting the signature line of Autoart. It really does have the details that we expect. The interior, to me, is kind of blah, but everything else, I mean, it shines in all other aspects.
Yeah, I think if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, should I buy this particular model to add to my collection, or maybe you already have one and you have nothing else to do on YouTube. So pretty much, yeah, I would say, if you don't have this in your collection, absolutely get it. Just based on 2 things, right? One, what the actual car, really represents in the real world. It's the F1. It was the first real hypercar out there, and it then kickstarted an entire, like a chain reaction of all different kinds of hypercars, supercars, etc. that followed after it.
Yeah, I mean, just think about supercars, right? The McLaren F1, I mean, maybe not the LM, but the F1 immediately pops to the mind of most car enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's not forget, only 5 of these were made, the LM.
Yes. And I guess secondly is the fact that for purely as a model, it looks great.
Yeah, it looks great in your display. I mean, the what, papaya orange. I mean, the color, right?
Yes.
It pops in any collection. There's very few cars that have this tone of orange.
Yes, like both you and I, we have this model, put up into our own personal collection in our display cabinets, and it pops.
Yeah, I mean, sitting next to my Mini Champs McLaren F1, that really pales in comparison compared to the F1 LM.
Yes. So I guess, well, let's give it a rating.
Yes,
shall we?
let's do that.
Let's go with, I'm happy to give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm surprised. I'm the same. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 as well.
Really?
Yes.
Well, this is one of the rare few times we actually agree on something. So
Yes.
cool. So if you are thinking of getting this, please go ahead and get it. And if you enjoyed this review, give us a thumbs up.
Yep. Leave a comment. Tell us what you like, not like. I mean, it's our first video.
Absolutely. And till next time, take care. This has been Hands on Diecast.
Yep. Bye-bye.